Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to G-Bear's Off-Grid Ways, a homestead in the desert. And those of you who always watch my channel, you know where I am right now. Yes, I'm in the shop. And the reason I'm in here is because I wanted to do a quick follow-up before I move on. Quick follow-up on this Kuzilux light, this camp light. Now this thing, I'm telling you, it sounds a little bit pricey. Don't forget to use the 10% discount coupon that's on the link that I put in the description. But you can also get it for free if you join Amazon Prime or whatever it is. It'll be there right in the description when you go to the Amazon channel on this. All right, so let's do a real quick follow-up on this. I was having a little trouble with some of the stuff when I did it last time because, to be honest with you, my memory's not as good as it used to be. And even my memory is forgetting to remember. Okay, anyway, remember how I snapped this unit into the tripod and those two little springs go down into the pipe and snap out. All right, so after I closed off, I tried squeezing those, and they are really hard to squeeze. I'm sure you could probably do it with a tool, but man, look at the dent in my finger just squeezing it there. Just too hard, and I couldn't get it out. So now I looked, and I went, oh my God, I just noticed right here, there's a little hole, and this little screw thing was screwed in there. Like that, okay? So you unscrew that, and then you can slide this thing. Let me see if I can do this while I'm... You know what? I got my chest unit on here. Let me put this phone in the chest unit. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, good. It's still working. Yeah, I hit a button when I did that. So let me move it over a little bit. There, that's better. All right. So with that being said, you can just slide this thing right off of there like that. And don't forget to put your little screw back in there so you don't lose it. All right, that was one of the things. Now the other thing was, remember the three phases. Press it, it's on for low, quick press on for medium, quick press on for high. Okay, so you can shut that off by long pressing. And remember, I was trying to get into the SOS mode. Well, the SOS mode is a double press. And notice they're both doing that opposites. So you can really attract the helicopter with that if you had to. Pretty cool. Okay, long press, and it shuts it off out of any mode. So those were the couple of things that I missed, but that's not all of them. Okay, we can pop this off and do the small light. Okay, so the small light is the same thing. First press is low, second press is medium, third press is high. Okay, long press for off and double press for SOS. Okay, now notice it's doing it with the floodlights. So if I shut that off and then I turn on the main lights and double press, it goes back to the floods. Okay, so the floods are on this one are your SOS lights. So that definitely shows for quite a distance and would be able to signal a helicopter if you were lost or something like that. All right, let me shut that off. And the last thing I missed. Remember the little plugs on the back here? And I couldn't get them out, so you can use one of the tent stakes to do this, but you just give it a little pop like that, and that pops out of there. And if you flip it over, it'll pop back in, and it has the threaded unit in there. And that's because the strap actually has these little threaded screws on the end, so you can screw those on and snap it back in. But you don't have to put the strap in the back on these two right here. These little units will actually slide in on the sides here at 4 different locations. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So you can put the strap crisscross across here on one side, so you can carry it like a briefcase if you wanted. Pretty cool. So if this thing was snapped back into place where it belongs on the main unit, you could put those 2 units in the side here, put that strap on there, and you can carry this whole thing alongside with you. I did have one comment, and I guess the guy didn't pay attention to the video. The one comment was the solar panel is on the opposite side of the lights, so that makes it totally inefficient for using it. I think you missed the fact that the solar panel is to charge the batteries that are inside these units. So you only have to do that during the day when the sun is out, and you're not going to use the lights anyway because you're charging it and the sun is out and you can see what you're doing. So kind of crazy, but I did get that comment. Hey, people make mistakes and they go, oh, I didn't pay attention. I should have paid attention. Okay, fine. So that's all I have for this unit. And I'm going to set that down right there. And I'm going to take this out of the chest holder unit so I can hold it. And I'm going to step outside here. Now we got some clouds moving in here. The humidity's gone up a little bit. It's in the 90s today. It's a really nice day. Calm, no winds. And I didn't get anything done on the guest cabin. And you say, well, why didn't you? Well, for one, I had to go into town and pick up mail. And I also, while I was in town, I had to stop and get a couple of small items in the grocery store that I needed for making my supper. So that tied me up until, well, by the time I got back here, it was noontime. I also went and checked on some horse feed for my neighbor who has rescue horses. And he's been paying outrageous fees for his stuff, so I found him. Well, I didn't find him. My neighbor Liddy told me about another place where you can get feed pretty cheap, and I went over there and I got 50 pounds of chicken scratch for my chickens for $21, and I had been paying like 24 and change for a 40-pound bag. So that was a great savings right there. Thank you, Letty. Worked out great. So anyway, one of the main reasons that I'm not doing much out here is because I've got to find my pins and pin off the 4 corners. Once I've got that done, then I know where I've got to do my trenchings. So like I said, this is going to be all cinder block. Now the bottom row of cinder blocks, this ground is graded, but it's not level right now. So this side is lower than that side, but that's okay. So on that side, I'm going to trench down about half the depth of the cinder block. Okay, then I'll set those cinder blocks in. And I've got a construction site level, And I'm sure some of you want to know what that's all about. I'll bring that out and show it to you when I'm doing the work. But I'll be able to shoot a grade from the top of those block over to this side. And then I'll know whether I need to fill here or not, or just basically lay it on top of the surface. So once that's all done, once I get the circular or the square, rectangle, whatever you want to call it, base of block into place here, and I've got it all squared off exactly how it's going to be, then that's when I can start planning where my trenching is going to go. Okay, now I don't have the money to buy all of the underground drainage pipe and all of that stuff, and I will leave a link for my PayPal. Anybody who wants to help with that, feel free to send me along whatever you can to get this thing going. Because we need to get people out here before I get too old, you know what I mean? So anyway, I need to get the drainage lines and all of that situated as to where they're going to go. And I can put a wooden stake in for the shower drain, and then put a wooden stake in for the bathroom toilet drain. And that will be a 3-inch line that comes out from under the toilet and runs on a lateral right over to where it's got to connect into the other one. And once I've got that laid out, I can cut into that anywhere along the line for my other drains, like the shower, the bathroom sink, and the kitchen sink. All right. Once I've got those all set underground, then there'll be filling. I have to put a filling in between the block, because the block is 8 inches thick, and I'm not going to do an 8-inch concrete slab for my floor in the cabin. So I'll be bringing that up, and then the way the floor is going to be, for some of you who are in construction and want to know what I'm going to do with that, it'll be 6/6-10 steel reinforced. But when I lay out the 6/6-10, on the ends will be bent down and going inside of the cinder block base that I have all the way around. And then when I pour the concrete, I'll be pouring a 3.5-inch thick slab across the whole thing, right over the top of those cinder block, right down inside of those cinder block. So the slab and the first course, or the foundation course, will all be made of one solid unit. Okay, and then when I start putting the cinder block courses on for the wall, those will go on top of that slab with mortar, of course, underneath them, and I'll start building up. Until I get money, I can only go up as high as the windowsills, and that's because the windows are going to be flanged windows like the ones I put on this cabin. But those flanges, you can see the framework around those are over the flanges. Okay, and that's how that seals against the wall. Well, I'm going to use those same flange type, and my idea is when I leave the opening in the cinder block for where the window's going, I'll start with the bottom row, and then I'm going to use a concrete saw to cut a groove across the base of the block before I put the next course on. And then the window will actually the flap will sit down inside that course, and it'll be sealed with gutter sealant, rain gutter sealant for plastic gutter. And that'll give me a watertight set at the base of the window. Now the flanges also stick out on the sides. So as I'm laying a course of block, when I get up to that point where a block is going to go up against the window, I will be cutting a groove in it, just like I did for the bottom, and I'll slip that over the flange and seal it with the same type of sealant. And each course will do that as I'm going up. Once it's all sealed all the way up, the blocks on the sides of both windows and on the sides of both doors will be concrete filled, not dirt filled. All right, so that's going to give me that extra strength and extra sealant and no drafts coming in from around the windows. All right, so that's my plan. Just wanted to get that out to you, everybody. I'm getting a little bit long here, so I'm going to call this a day and say thank you all for joining me. This is G Bear signing off.